Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners Workshop Meeting for June 14, 2017. Roll call, please.
President Zipfel.
Here.
Vice President Hughes.
Here.
Commissioner Andrus.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers.
Here.
Commissioner Thomas.
Here.
A few weeks ago, we had Chief Tierney lead us in the pledge, but since tonight is really a celebration of our public safety department, I'm going to ask that he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance again this evening. Okay, before we get to all the fun stuff, which everyone is here for, we do have a couple of housekeeping items. We will try and be as quick as we can. So is there a motion for approval of tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Rogers. Everyone's rushing for this one now. Second by Commissioner Andrus. All in favor of approving tonight's agenda, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we can move forward. Citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments on agenda items only? All right, not seeing anyone, we're going to move on to our consent items briefly. Is there a motion to enter into the record the consent items listed in your agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Vice President Hughes, second by Commissioner Andrus. So the consent items in the agenda include the engineer's report for the month of May, police report for the month of May, Park and Rec board minutes of April 3rd and May 8th, the pool advisory board minutes of April 11, the planning commission minutes of May 16, the HTMA monthly budget report of the month of April, and HTMA meeting minutes of April 11. With that, I'll call the question. All in favor of moving those into the record, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, we're going to move those into the record. Okay, on to the fun stuff. First thing I would like is if now retired police officer Sergeant Dave McCreesh would join me and Bill Chief Tierney over at the podium.
And the girls, can you come up, please, as well? Dave is joined by his wife, Celine, and his daughters, Kylie and Casey. His son, Dave, is not with us tonight.
Okay, before we start with the proclamation that we have already approved, and we read that, just a couple of words about Officer McCreesh. First off, I want to say thank you to the entire family. One of the reasons that you are here with us, standing up here, is not only to honor your dad, but for us to say thank you to you for all the times that he was pulled away when you probably wanted him at home, or whether you wanted him at a game, or you wanted him at a school function or something else. He was off helping us. So on behalf of all of Hatfield Township, thank you very much to your entire family, including your son who can't make it tonight. Thank you. All right, so how do we thank Officer McCreesh and embarrass him a little bit? Well, I'll leave that maybe a little bit more up to Chief. But what we're doing tonight is we are celebrating the retirement of a fantastic police officer. So earlier today I said, okay, what are we going to say about Dave? And one of the things I thought to do was to maybe try and describe him in just a couple of simple words that are so descriptive that people will understand what we mean just by using the words. And I've known Dave for a number of years, and the entire police department has known him for many more, so I'm sure that they're probably going to agree with the words that I've chosen, and probably have many more. But the descriptive words I have for him tonight are supportive of this entire township, trustworthy to no end, capable, he's one of the best police officers around, one of the best police officers we've ever had, dependable, same thing. Never heard anything other than how fantastically dependable he is. And quite frankly, on behalf of the board, one of our favorites. So Dave, come on up forward for us. So I'm going to read your proclamation, and then Chief is going to say a few words. Whereas the Hatfield Township Board of Commissioners desires to recognize David McCreesh, and whereas David McCreesh was hired on June 11, 1990 as a police officer, and whereas David McCreesh was promoted to the rank of corporal in 1997, and whereas David McCreesh was promoted to the rank of sergeant in 1999, and whereas David McCreesh has served the community of Hatfield Township for 27 years, now therefore be it proclaimed, in accordance with the foregoing, that the Board of Commissioners of Hatfield Township does hereby endorse this proclamation as recognition to David McCreesh for his commitment and dedication to Hatfield Township, proclaimed and presented this 14th day of June 2017. Thank you for everything that you've done, and congratulations on your retirement.
Stand up here next to your picture so everybody can see. See what's going on.
I'm a lot more handsome now.
So, in thinking about my past with Dave, I was trying to come up with some things to say about a guy who's been he's kept things pretty much close to the vest. Dave wasn't the kind of guy to be explosive about things like maybe I would be. He would have conversations. And in the course of that, I was thinking, another adjective I could add to Dave is that he is formidable. And I say that in the kindest of terms. When Dave started, I remember whoever introducing Dave to me, and I thought, oh my God, another Irishman. Like, we already have Hanrahan, we have me, we had Toomey. Like, I don't need any more guys, because as you begin to look at the people around you, you're thinking, who can challenge me for whatever position that I might want? I always knew Dave was going to be that guy. He was going to be a guy that was always going to push me and push himself to be better and do more. That's why I say formidable. So thank you, Dave. And in Dave's career, he quickly became what I consider to be a standout officer. He was never a status quo. It was never good enough to just be this. He always said, why? Let's do more. Let's do better. Going back to what I said about Dave pushing people to do more. And he was one of the founding members of our highway safety unit. Do you have that picture, Aaron? I know some of you have been here before, and you'll see a picture of Dave and myself and Sergeant Turner, who's in the back. He was part of our original highway safety unit. And Dave was one of the building blocks of that unit, and I'll actually tell you what I think is a funny story. Dave and I went to accident investigation training, and this was a debacle because a part of Dave came out that I hadn't seen before, which actually bound me to him for the rest of our career. We disrupted the class to no end, to the point that we were almost thrown out, and we were laughing constantly. There was a lieutenant teaching the class. He actually stormed out at one point and said, I've had enough of you guys. And our laughter continued. And I thought we would not be police officers at the end of that day. And here we are. Dave's retiring, and we move on. And that is a true story. We were a menace at that point. And in the early days, Dave basically investigated accidents with a ruler and a piece of gum. Like, we had no equipment. I'm sure Rob would agree. We had nothing, and we were told to investigate serious fatalities, and we had nothing other than common sense and what became great know-how. And Dave was, again, one of the guys that led the way down that pike. Dave is, I consider to be probably one of the biggest building blocks in a highly regarded unit that we have here in Hatfield today. And I think most guys agree we have a great highway safety unit. That has a lot to do with Dave. And as I already said, Dave made people around him better. He made me better. He made guys that have left this department already better. And on top of being a great cop, you can see here, Dave was a great family man. I know he misses his son dearly, who's not here today, as does the rest of the family. His son's out in Seattle working. But I think the greatest example Dave gave us is that of a family man. So Dave, I thank you for your friendship, your dedication, and thanks for your questions throughout your career. You made me better. You made the township better. You made the police department better. Thank you.
One last gift.
That's not right.
That's what I meant when I said one last gift, any chance to embarrass you. It's actually my honor to, in the beginning, when you start, we're going to have 2 swearing-ins tonight, and we're going to have badges presented to 2 new officers. And this is actually the first time that I've had the privilege of handing this to someone who has retired and has done done such a fantastic job for our entire township. I'm holding in my hand a Hatfield Township Sergeant's Retired Badge, which is quite remarkable. And on behalf of the township, again, congratulations.
Magic unveiling here, Dave.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, boy.
So
Maybe I won't say anything.
This is a picture you already saw, but we had back for Dave.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Wife was kind enough to provide me with the picture months and months. Dave,
I'm not much for speeches. I've gone 27 years avoiding them, and I'll do my best tonight to do the same. I'll make it really short. This has been I just want to thank the people of this community. People of this community, the leaders of Hatfield Township and Hatfield Borough, for having given me the opportunity to have experienced such a wonderful career. A very formidable and honorable profession. So thank you very much.
Nothing better than doing photographs after that.
So you want to hold that? Hopefully we have the start of 2 more 27-year or more careers here this evening, even though they've been on the job for a little bit. I'd like to announce Brandy McCoy and Ryan Saunders as the 2 newest Hatfield police officers. District Judge Andrea Duffy and District Judge Ed Levine are here. Could you please come up? And Brandy and Ryan, if you don't mind coming forward as well with your families. I know you have, Brandy has brought a truckload of people from what I... And before we actually get to the swearing in, I'll say, just let you know, both Brandy and Ryan attended North Penn High School both graduates of North Penn High School. And Brandy was a Montgomery Township police officer, and Ryan has been a Philadelphia police officer. And I believe Brandy is joined tonight by Jeremy and her mom and her grandparents and her great-grandparents. And Ryan is here tonight with his family as well as his girlfriend Emily. And Emily just had a baby last week, as we can see the little one here, named Gianna.
Wow.
So congratulations to the growing Saunders family. Very nice.
Wait 1 second.
I'll try to pass it back and forth. I, Ryan Saunders,
I, Ryan Saunders,
solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey,
the ordinances of Hatfield Township
the ordinances of Hatfield Town
and Hatfield Borough,
and Hatfield Borough,
and perform the duties of police officer
and perform the duties of police officer
partially and to the best of my ability.
impartially and to the best of my ability.
This is my moral obligation
This is my moral obligation
and sworn duty,
and sworn duty,
and I pledge to never betray
and I pledge to never betray
my badge, my integrity, my character,
my badge, my integrity, my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
Well, I'm going to say that it's my honor to be swearing in Officer McCoy again because I've had the privilege of working with her for years in my district court as an officer in Montgomery Township. So I'm thrilled to be here. After me. I, Brandy McCoy,
I, Brandy McCoy,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the ordinances of Hatfield Township
the ordinances of Hatfield Township
and Hatfield Borough,
and Hatfield Borough,
and perform the duties of police
and
officer
perform the duties of police officer
impartially
impartially
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
This is my moral obligation
This is my moral obligation
and sworn duty,
and sworn duty,
and I pledge to never betray
and I pledge to never betray
my badge,
my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
Congratulations.
What's that?
Okay. You have big shoes to fill based on what we just talked about with Officer McCreesh. I haven't had the pleasure of really spending time with either of you, but I hear fantastic things, so we have every reason to believe that you're also going to be here for 27 years or more and also be recognized as one of our fantastic police officers. And it is my honor to provide each of you with a badge. But whenever we have had a time when we have brought on a new police officer, we start off ceremonially tonight by saying, welcome to the family. And we mean that. This is a family. Now, you're going to spend a lot more time with that part of the family than maybe this part of the family. But we mean it. You have a fantastic, you're going to be surrounded by fantastic colleagues, one of the best police force around, fantastic chief of police, and we'd like, boy, did I serve that one up. That was too easy. Maybe I should write these out next time. And we're going to support you and the entire police force, and we welcome you, and we wish you many, many years of fantastic professional involvement with us. So thank you and congratulations.
I have really nothing else other than to say thank you to the board, as always, for your great support of the police department. And our civil service members are here tonight and seeing us through the process, which always seems to be a trying one, but we always make it to the other side. We come out better on the other end, so thank you very much for your input. And as always, thank you to the men and women of our police department. We are definitely the best. Thank you.
They can stay if they'd like. Really? It's okay.
Actually, folks, if you could hold on one more second, we're going to be honoring the IDA, the Industrial Development Authority. And I see them all here, and I know that they want to come up.
It's police related.
It's police related, too.
It is. There we go.
You may not run yet. Just one more recognition. Our Industrial Development Authority, the IDA, is a group of folks, volunteers, who do fantastic work, financial work, and I'm going to bring them up in just a moment. I know that we're going to put up a couple of slides. Just before I do that, however, I want to recognize the civil service members who assisted us throughout the entire process of bringing on the 2 new police officers. I neglected to mention that as I was swearing in the officers. I want to thank all 4 of you who are here tonight, all 4 members. I want to thank you for everything that you do. This is one of those commissions, boards of volunteers where the work gets done. Very rarely do people get recognized, and the decisions that they make have such a profound impact on our township. They really need to be thanked for that. So on behalf of the entire township, 18,000 people and probably growing, thank you for everything that you've done. Okay, our last recognition for the evening. We don't normally have this many recognitions for those of you who don't normally attend, but come on back and we'll have fun. Is the IDA, the Industrial Development Authority members. I'd like to bring them up, those who are here. Les Brown is our chair, Judith Tomas, Josh Forst, Sid Britton, Rachel Long, and Mark Davis, who is our solicitor. If you would come up and join me at the podium, me and Chief at the podium. So we are recognized as they walk up. I'll tell you why we're recognizing them. Another organization, another board, it's actually authority by definition, that does work that is unrecognized and has a great impact. Just recently, they were able to assist us in financing $30,000 towards the cost of renovations for the detective unit as a part of our police department. So what does the IDA do? They are essentially a financial authority that allows us to receive grants, for lack of a better term, that we can use for public projects such as this. We're recognizing them tonight. It was funny, we had an event earlier, Sid and I were talking, and we were talking about volunteers generally, and we agreed that there's a little bit of there's a lot of commitment when it comes to volunteerism, and there's a little bit of crazy. So we call it the 2 C's. You got to be very committed and a little crazy to do the things that they do, and many of them have been doing it for many years, and they do it fantastically. So recently, we renovated the Public Works facility, previously occupied by a tenant. That new space, as I mentioned before, is going to be used as a detective unit of the police department, as well as police training and other public safety functions. Is that what we're showing before and after pictures of the facility that we were at just earlier? So the IDA contributed $30,000 towards the cost of the renovation. So while partnering with local banks, the IDA provides tax-free, low-interest financing to qualifying construction projects in our region. Each transaction generates a fee to the authority, which then gets reinvested back into our community. We talk about the IDA because they approve each of the transactions by way of resolution, so the commissioners vote on it, and no taxpayer funds are involved in the Hatfield IDA. Do we have the plaque? Has that been shown already? We have a plaque that that we don't have this evening, but it was going to be hung in the new office on behalf of the IDA members as a small thank you. So, as I've said with regard to the other volunteer organizations, on behalf of the entire township, we want to thank each of you for the unsung responsibilities and unsung work that you have done for so many years. Without you, we would not have this new facility. And so that is your legacy, that is part of your legend to this township, and we thank you very much.
The only thing we do is pass money and catch a fee and reinvest that back in the township. Right now, we need to get some more projects so we can invest more back into the township.
I know everybody's anxious to continue to hear me speak. John Wolf is here. He's our Public Works Director. And this job, as much as money is crucially important, without having John and his crew, there's no way this job gets done for the amount of money that was spent. They were phenomenal. They were there every day. They were open to change, and we made a lot of changes. We made a lot of improvements. And John, I can't thank you and your staff enough. Thanks very much. Thanks, Les. Thank you.
Back to the regular.
That makes sense.
Way.
Not sleeping at all.
All right, not nearly as exciting as the remainder of our meeting. Those of you who are staying, thank you for that. We're going to move on to our committee reports. First is Planning and Zoning Committee, Commissioner Rogers.
Sure. The first item is a minor subdivision for 2235 to 2237 line Lexington Avenue. Mr. Amy, would you take that, please?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Rogers. What we have before us this evening is a two-lot subdivision. It's actually a lot line adjustment more than a subdivision in that currently there exist two lots off of Line Lexington Road, and if the board approves this subdivision, there will still be two lots. They will just be configured differently. This subdivision is being done partially to settle an estate. Mr. Mallon is the property owner. He's here this evening if the board has any questions, but I think I can sort of sum it up that the project has been reviewed by the township staff, by the consultants, by the County Planning Commission, and by the Township Planning Commission, and has been recommended for approval by everyone. There were a few details that were, I think, as recently as this morning, just ironed out on the plan, and I expect that the solicitor will have a resolution ready for you in 2 weeks.
All right, any questions, comments? Not, then we'll move it to our next agenda without objection from anyone. All right, thank you. You'll be on next meeting's agenda 2 weeks from now. Good point. It's a good point. Anything else, Commissioner Rogers?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Public Works Committee, Vice President Hughes.
Okay, I'll start off with the good news. The Walnut Street Bridge is expected to open early July, which is about over a month ahead of schedule. After that, the township will begin the process to be reimbursed for 80% of the project, saving the local taxpayers $1 million. Along with that, though, at the next meeting, they'll be looking for payment number 4 of $138,260.89. So that'll be on the agenda in 2 weeks. The accessible curb ramps, they're almost completed for the 2017 road program, and the paving will begin shortly. This year, we're investing over $700,000 to improving the township roads and accessibility. Also, the Public Works staff hung the Hometown Hero banners this week in the township parking lot, and they look great. It's great to see all the local heroes when you come to the township building now. They'll remain up to after Veterans Day, and then go back up before Memorial Day next year.
All right, we're going to move on to Parks and Recreation Committee, Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you, President Zipfel. Okay, Parks and Recreation. So Music Feast Summer Concert Series is starting in less than 2 weeks. It starts, the first one is Monday, June 26th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at School Road Park. And we also have little booklets that we made up this year. So it has the schedule and it gives a description of each of the bands. So if you're interested, I'm sure Ashley probably has them out in the lobby somewhere. Swim lesson registration is now open at the Hatfield Aquatic Center. You can register for one of the 4-week-long sessions offered. There's beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then there's also private lessons. Lessons are scheduled for 30-minute increments for specific times, and it's $30 for residents and $45 for non-residents for the group lessons. For more information and specific times, you can go to www.hatfieldrec.com. We also have the Get Fit Aqua Exercise, so if you're looking for a cool way to exercise this summer, this program is for you. It's a fun-filled class that allows you to work out with music and exercise tools at your own pace. You can purchase a card for the number of classes that you would like to attend, so there's a 10-class pass, and it goes 20 and 30, so on and so forth. Classes are offered from June 12th, so it looks like they've already started, through August 26th, Mondays at 7, Wednesdays at 7, and Saturdays at 9:30 in the morning. And that is located at the Aquatic Center here in Hatfield, and that's also hatfieldrec.com. We have the Get Fit Wake Up Call, so you can start your morning off right. Who needs a cup of coffee? You can get fit instead. So join us Mondays and Wednesdays at School Road Park Pavilion for a heart-pumping, high-intensity workout. June 5th through June 28th, so that one's going to wind up shortly, but it's 6 a.m. to 6:45 a.m. That alone, that time getting up would get my heart pumping. Dash and Splash 5K is scheduled for Wednesday, August 16th. Registration and check-in will be at 5:30. The 5K race starts at 7 p.m. sharp, and the children can participate in the Kids Fun Run. That starts at 6:45 p.m. Registration for that and information is at runtheday.com. Join us for our summer nature camp. It runs Monday, August 21st through Friday, August 25th. It's held at School Road Park from 9 to 11 each day. On Thursday, August 24th, the camp will run from 9 to 3 due to an all-day field trip. Program is $25 for residents and $35 for non, and you can go to hatfieldrec.com to register for that. We also have summer rec camp, which is different than nature camp. That camp runs for 9 weeks through June, July, and August. Registration is available on a weekly basis. Camp calendar and handbook are currently available on the Township website, which would be hatfieldtownship.org. And Hatfield Aquatic Center season passes. They're now available for purchase, so you can take advantage of the new software and register online at hatfieldrec.com. And last but certainly not least, we have a bus trip coming up. Actually, we have one this Saturday, but I think that one's booked. We're going up to New York to see a couple shows. But the next one is to Mohegan Sun Pocono Casino, and that's Wednesday, October 25th. The bus will depart from Upper Gwinnett Township because we partner with them for these. And that they'll leave at 9 a.m. and they'll go to the casino and then head back at 4 p.m. The cost is $45. That includes transportation there and back and a $25 free slot play card and a $5 food voucher. So spaces are limited, so you want to register soon at hatfieldrec.com.
Great, a lot going on. All right, next is Public Safety Committee. Just a little update on some police grant success. Chief had mentioned this before, and I'll explain a little bit about that. The police department just recently received a grant for just under $10,000, and that allows the police officers to conduct digital forensic analysis of cellular telephones and mobile devices. We had the opportunity to see a little bit about that tonight when we were over at the detective's office. It's very impressive, and a tool that actually is more than just plugging in. Operationally, it's more beneficial than just plugging in a phone and receiving data. Prior to that, our police officers would have to drive down to the county to a location that was an hour away and spend time waiting for it and then coming back, and they could spend half a day or more just to plug in a phone and get data. Now we have that available to us right here on site. That cellular telephone also provides us with the capability to perform physical, the grant also allows us to provide capability to perform physical, file system, and logical extractions of data device and passwords from cellular telephones and mobile devices. SIM cards can also be analyzed, and the data gathered can be used in criminal prosecution. So just a little bit of success on the grant, in the grant area, and well done to the department for obtaining that, and obviously good use in the future. Thank you, Chief.
Great tool for the new office as well. It was perfect timing that everything came together for us to obtain that and put it in line with everything else we had going.
Great, great. All right, Finance Committee, Commissioner Andrus.
Yes, just a couple updates from the financial end of the business. Total tax revenue is up $350,000 at this time this year. There's a $90,000 increase in collection of back taxes compared to last year. Most of this is due to large property assessment settlements that we've approved earlier in the year for a large apartment complex. Real estate transfer tax is up $135,000 from last year at this point. It's a good indication the local housing market is doing well, and attributed to a few large real estate transactions in the township. Local service tax collected is $38,000 higher than last year at this point, and that's really an interpretation of the fact that more folks are working in Hatfield Township, which is good for our community. As for expenses, we're on pace to our budget. And summarize, we're revenue's slightly higher. We're holding the line on the budget. So our outlook for 2017 so far is very, very good. Thank you.
All right, jump right into the Township Manager's Report. Aaron?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have two housekeeping items tonight and one minor update. Regarding the meeting schedule in the summer, as we have done in the past, there will only be one public meeting in July and August, so it's the fourth Wednesday of each month the meeting will take place. There will be no workshop in either July and August. I know some of you will have to maybe go out to see a movie that night to provide the entertainment, but we will be back at 2 meetings a month in September. The other update is regarding the Aquatic Center and just some financial information on where we are as of yesterday compared to last year, just a quick overview. And as you can see, the revenue is increased as far as season passes, and besides the last few days, it really hasn't felt like summer. So obviously some people aren't thinking about their floaties and their whatever else goes on down there until the last few days. So we saw a lot of memberships being sold in the last few days, and we'll see that to continue to increase, obviously, throughout the season. We have a pool board member here today, Bob Lanued. Wanted to thank him for his service, as well as Commissioner Andrews, who goes to all of the pool board meetings and does a great job of providing leadership. One interesting piece of information on this slide is you'll see the non-resident compared to resident component, and you'll see that the non-residents are higher than the residents. However, when you look at this historically, the trend has been the resident passes have been increasing, the non-resident has been decreasing, and that was absolutely intentional. 4 years ago, one of our main priorities was to make sure the Hatfield Township residents knew about this beautiful award-winning facility that we have in our backyard. It was amazing to hear from so many residents who would say to us, where is this aquatic center? So we did our best to market it to residents in the past several years. So we've seen that gap close, and we may see the, actually next year, we may see resident passes surpass non-resident. So it's something we focused on, and it's nice to see the data to support our effort in the past. So good news all around there, and we'll continue to track that throughout the summer. My last item is just a housekeeping item. This year with the Aquatic Center, we hire roughly 150 employees, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. So we have a third-party vendor that's going to help us with the payroll this year. In order to do that, we had to create a new EIN number for the Aquatic Center. There's going to be a resolution in 2 weeks in front of the board, simply that says to the, it was required to be a resolution to the payroll company that Hatfield Township will be responsible for all of the unemployment insurance and unemployment compensation, because it is technically considered a new organization. However, everything will function the same as it has in the past. The minor cost associated with that, given the nature of these jobs, there's not much unemployment, if any, that would ever be given out. So it's just housekeeping, a requirement by the third-party vendor that will be helping us with the payroll throughout the summer. So we'll have that resolution in front of the board in 2 weeks. Mr. President, that's all I have, sir.
All right, moving on to the Solicitor's Report.
All is well.
Very good, good to hear. Fantastic. All right, citizens' comments. Any citizens' comments? Seeing none, I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn. We don't have any session afterwards, right?
We don't. One other item I just wanted to mention. With the grant that Chief just received, that is now the 6th grant received by Hatfield Township within a year period. So we've had tremendous success, and Chief's continuing that run. So I just wanted to point that out.
Great job on behalf of the entire staff. Thank you, Aaron, and to your entire staff.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Motion by Commissioner Rogers, second by Commissioner Thomas. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned. Thanks for coming out, folks.